Okay, it's 10 o'clock, so I'll call this meeting of the Middleton Board of Review to order. Lori, take roll.
Yep, Doug,
Yes.
Bo,
Here.
Yes.
Bart,
Here.
and Ellison Cloud is absent. At this time, we are going to do the assessment roll. The leaders has
Sure, this is Dean Peters speaking, City Assessor. For the record, the 2020 assessment roll for the City of Middleton. This includes all the real estate assessments and all the business. Do I need to repeat? Okay. I was just saying for the record, the 2020 assessment roll has been completed. The assessment roll includes all real estate assessments as well as all business personal property assessments. Any changes that were made as a result of our open book meetings this year have been included in the assessment roll, so everything is current. And also for the record, our estimated level of assessment or assessment ratio this year is going to be about 90%. We had 100% assessed values 2 years ago when the city had a revaluation under the previous assessor, Paul Musser. We were at about 100% that year. But since that time, real estate values have increased, and the assessment, we have not done a revaluation, so the assessments are still, by and large, sitting at the same levels that they were set at in 2018, which is now measured to be about 10% under market value. So I'll work with the city. At some point, we'll need to update assessments again. Probably will not be in 2021, but it may well be in 2022. So that's coming eventually.
Has all property increased 10%? For residential and commercial?
Yeah, residential and commercial combined. I'm anticipating that this coronavirus pandemic situation is going to negatively impact commercial values more so than residential values. So it remains to be seen yet if that's going to affect our assessment level moving forward. But we're likely going to see that residential properties continue to be underassessed, and it's possible that commercial property values will drop. I look at it a couple different ways. With leased commercial property, you have a lot of small businesses that are closing or that have suffered, which can affect the income in the leased commercial properties. You have more people working from home, so less demand for office space. You also have apartments in the commercial class, and there's been a lot of inability to collect rent money in apartments. So I think the collection loss, as well in the vacancies, as well as loss of investor confidence in these types of properties is all going to have a negative collective impact on the commercial class. I don't know yet how this is going to affect our assessments.
Have you been able to monitor the recent Wisconsin transfer tax assessed value versus sale value residential? I mean, I look at it here and there, but boy, it seems to be a wide spread. Residential. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it has to impact residential. Just has to.
By the time next January 1st is rolled around, we will have gone through all of the sales from 2020, and I'm sure we'll see a trend of rates changing through the course of the year. And I'm hoping we get some guidance as well from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue as to how assessors should handle the changing assessment in sale prices during the course of the year. But ultimately, it's likely that I'm going to hear more appeals or more requests for reduced assessments, especially in the commercial class for 2021. And I think sometime between now and then, we will.
It's a tough balancing act when close to 50% of the assessed value of this community is commercial versus residential. So it's a seesaw.
Ron, can you describe this transfer tax issue?
Well, every time there is a transfer of property, the buyer and seller have to fill it out, a copy of which goes to the municipality, showing, and I'll suggest it has to be close to 100% accurate, the exact dollar amount the property was transferred to. Well, you can look back, and just to make an example, it's sold before everybody signed it, so he gets a copy, city, but it was assessed for $350. Collectively throughout the year, he takes and he puts those into a program, and they average whatever the rate would be. But it's certainly got to be a higher rate just because the residential, as Dean pointed out, there are fewer sales, but the sales they're all literally selling for above asking price. And the asking prices aren't bad, though. I mean, it's a market condition.
No.
It may be temporary, maybe permanent. It's certainly based on supply and demand. So he knows exactly to the penny what it was purchased for. And of course, he knows the assessment. And he puts that into a program, and then ultimately it comes out, whatever.
Okay.
I mean, it's a balancing act, particularly in this community. Most communities don't have that much commercial property, but we've got just about 50%. The question is more of the burden going to be placed on residential properties? And the answer is probably so. Just based on them. What you try to do is make it equitable to everybody, taxes, so that everybody is treated fairly and equitably. That's the whole purpose of it. And that's his job. I mean,
yeah.
And it's a tough one, admittedly. Right.
Sure.
But that number doesn't change higher or lower with the assessments. I mean, that number is going to be a fixed number. Whatever the tax levy is going to be is what it's going to be, and that gets divided into the total assessed value to come up with a tax rate, and then everybody's billed out using that tax rate. So really, the assessor's work just determines what share of the tax levy each property owner is responsible for.
Yep.
And if we long term, if we see that commercial property, for example, drops in value and residential property grows in value, that's how we're
All of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it okay if we talk about the documents that we received for today's meeting without that individual present?
It's been withdrawn, so it really is irrelevant.
Okay, I was just wondering because it seemed like there was a large, in all four properties, there were large discrepancy between our assessment and their perspective, so to speak. And I'm wondering, given those large dollar amounts, how is that they chose to not challenge the assessment? But like you say, Doug, it's kind of Mute.
Yeah.
Okay. Morning, Lori.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late. I was held up at another meeting. Of course.
Are there any more questions? Well, I guess with that, since there is there are no challenges, I'll make a motion that we recess till noon, subject to no more appeals coming in. If there are, Lori will contact us and we'll reconvene. Otherwise, we'll be adjourned for the year.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. With that, we're adjourned for the year 2020
At noon.
at noon.
Thanks for coming to that.